Welcome to part 6 of my Nordic Road Trip series. In the last episode I crossed the Finnish border on my way to northern Norway. I'm very happy to be back in Finland because this country has a very special place in my heart, but I don't want to make a big deal out of it now, because for now I'm just driving through the country, and then afterwards, after I've been to the Arctic Ocean, I want to go back to Finland and then start the real Finland tour. But until then, let's just enjoy Finland for a short while. And I'm very hungry. Time to cook. These long potatoes are called almond potatoes, and they are a delicacy in the Nordics. They are only grown in the northern parts of these countries and are much more delicious than any other potatoes I found up there. This is one of my standard meals, fried potatoes and eggs. Very simple meal, very delicious, I love it. Lots of mosquitoes everywhere. But yeah, I got used to that. It's more or less normal for me now. And there are some birds calling in the background. I don't know what birds make this call. But it's nice to listen to them. It felt a bit weird to be in Finland because I knew that it was just for a few hours, but I was glad to have the little fire for my stove. It made everything so much cozier.
It will take me a little while to get rid of all the mosquitoes in here. I'm looking so forward to finally fall asleep. It's been a very long day with much driving. Time to sleep during another very bright night. Good night.
On the next morning the weather was dry but cloudy. I started packing my stuff because I didn't want to waste time. By now I was on the road for so long that the packing was just a routine I had performed many times before. After the packing I ate a little breakfast. Good morning. The birds are back. Right now I'm filming them. I slept very well here, but there's still a long way to the Arctic Ocean. It's still around 6 hours drive or something like that. So let's continue the journey. This is the Norwegian border. Welcome to Norway. Welcome to the Arctic Ocean. I finally made it. I'm very happy to be here. Look, it's almost 1 at night or 1 in the morning and it's still that bright. I'm far north enough to see the midnight sun, but right now it's hidden behind that mountain. But I will drive even further north. So tomorrow night I will hopefully be able to really see the midnight sun, because I will be so north that there will be just ocean, no mountains, no rocks, nothing. It's just so beautiful here. Take a look around. Norway, very spectacular country. I love these little waves and the sound they make. This is so relaxing. I feel like something in me just heals the moment that I hear this. Just heals and gets younger and fresher. That's the magical power of the water element. If I didn't have this video footage, I wouldn't be sure if I was even there or if it was just a dream that started to turn into a vibrant memory. When a never setting sun makes you forget about time and complete emptiness makes you forget about space, it literally feels like you are in a dream world. I don't mean that in a positive way or in a negative way, just in a neutral way. I did not really notice how the hours flew by as I walked around and shot these clips. One beautiful thing about Norway is that you have both mountains and the ocean right next to each other. Most areas in the Nordic countries are covered with forests, but this place was so different. No trees anywhere. The tallest plants near me were those reed grasses that almost looked like wheat. They fit so well into the surrounding environment. Luckily, at some point I was stopped from filming them forever because my camera battery died. It's almost 3 o'clock by now. I really should go to sleep. I shot some more videos down by the water because it just looks so beautiful. But this is not a good place to sleep, and since I wanna drive further north anyway, I will drive a little further north right now until I found a good place. I'm really tired, but yeah, that's just how it is. It was already so late at night that I had passed the point of greatest tiredness and was becoming more awake again. And so I was able to really enjoy my nighttime drive, even though there was a small interruption. There are so many sheep in Norway, but I was happy to see them because they looked very fluffy, like walking clouds. They were kind enough to make way for me, and so the drive continued. The road was completely empty, and so was the landscape. The human eye is not used to such emptiness. It's always searching for something that isn't there. I just found it a great experience to drive there. Look where I ended up. It's very lonely up here, but also very beautiful. There's a lot of fog today, but nevertheless I really enjoy being here. And it was very spectacular this morning when I woke up in my car, looked out the window, and this is what I saw. Finally, I had found an area that I liked so much that I decided to stay for a while. Although I was almost at the same latitude as the North Cape, there were far fewer tourists around. I rarely saw other people up here, except when I drove to a village about 25 kilometers away to buy groceries and fill up on gas. But even though I didn't come across many humans, I was not alone. I was basically surrounded by animals and had beautiful encounters every day. One night an otter ran around my car and made angry noises, but it was too quick to be filmed. At least I captured a video of this least weasel, which is the smallest carnivorous mammal in the world. There were two of them and they weren't shy at all. They even started a fight right in front of my feet. But these were by far not the most amazing animal encounters I had in this area, as you will see later. The plants adapt to this tough environment. Look, even such a small blueberry bush has a fruit. And it tastes pretty good. There are even more of them. And considering that these are such small blueberry bushes, I think that these are pretty normal sized blueberries. Look at this beautiful little pond here. Crystal clear water. Very bluish water also. And spending time here climbing around on these rocks and stuff like that. This really gives me a feeling for the ecosystem that an ocean is. Because I have a very good feeling and a very intuitive understanding of forests, you know, having grown up in Central Europe with these big forests, very huge trees and everything. I have a good understanding of that, but I haven't had such an intuitive understanding of oceans, because I hadn't spent that much time there. Of course, I've been to the ocean before, but now I get the chance to really spend days just climbing around in these rocks and watching everything, seeing the plants, seeing the animals and stuff, and I get a feeling for what the ocean is like, and I really love that. It's so beautiful and so different from what I'm used to. Completely different world. It's like exploring another planet. One thing I learned from watching the ocean is that it cannot be tamed. The rivers and streams I had encountered on my journey so far had to conform to the shape of the earth and adjust their courses accordingly. But here the element of water showed its strongest side. The ocean is overwhelming. Everything that lives on and within it must submit to its movements and adapt to its cyclical rhythm. Up and down, in and out. All living beings are tiny in comparison to the biggest body of water. That water was the only thing between me and the Arctic ice of the North Pole. I had made it to the end of Europe. Most of the stones here are very sharp-edged and pointy, but on this beach the stones are rounded and I find them so beautiful. I think this looks like a dinosaur egg. Maybe a little dinosaur will come out of the stone. I think it's almost too beautiful to leave it here, but there are so many of them lying around on this beach, and there's also some beauty in just returning it back to nature and enjoying the thought that it can stay where it came from. I also like casting stones into the water. Right now I'm also boiling some eggs to have food for the way. Frying eggs takes very long, and boiled eggs, you can just eat them very quickly. So that's what I'm doing now. I had spent enough time at this spot for now. This area was packed with fantastic places. So the next night I drove around, explored the area and searched for a new place. Wow, look at that beautiful sunrise over there at 1 in the morning. Now is the time of the year where the sun disappears at night for around 1 hour and then it rises again at 1, but of course it stays bright during the night. It's so beautiful. The next spot where I decided to stay was very wide and open. It was not far from my previous spot, but the atmosphere was very different, which was intensified by a very welcome change in the weather. The grey ocean was now blue and everything felt much easier, as it is always with good weather. One night I wandered around on the cliffs. That's when I had the most magical animal encounter. This is really amazing. The sun is just rising in the middle of the night and the full moon is on the other side. First I saw a back in the water. It turned out to be the back of a big old grey seal. After a while the seal noticed me and came closer. It observed me with its black eyes. Look at that face. God knows how old it was, but I think these eyes have seen a lot. This was such an amazing moment for me. As someone who was not used to the ocean, I had never seen anything like that before. Then I got even luckier as porpoises started to show up in the distance. seal stayed close to me for about half an hour, watching me. Then it dived down and was gone for good. And so the days went by and I experienced one breathtaking scenery after the other, like on this beach that I visited one night. After I had been on the road so long, it was time to calm down for a while and reflect on all that had happened so far. I had started my journey more than 2 months ago in southern Sweden, and now I was here, thousands of kilometers away from my home in Germany. I was at the perfect place at the perfect time. Trust me, a video can never capture how this place looked in real life. Sometimes in life you just run into things that are so beautiful that you can't find the words to describe them anyway. So the only thing you can do is enjoy. The later it gets, the more beautiful everything looks, because the pink of the sky just becomes more and more intense. Just look at this 360-degree beauty. One detail I loved very much about that beach was this little stream flowing into the ocean. This is how all rivers end. Just like everything that exists becomes part of the greater whole again one day, including you and me. For us it seems so normal to be individuals, but it's actually something extremely special. We won't be here forever in this form. One day it all ends, including our capacity to act in the physical world with space and time. Take a moment to look around you, whether you like what you see or not. All of this is literally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Maybe it is cruel and sad, maybe it is full of joy and beauty, but it is at least an experience. Once the experience is over, there will be no separation between you and me, no ground to stand on, no air to breathe, and no food to eat. Maybe what comes next will be even better, maybe not. Who am I to say? But please realize how amazing it is to have this short time span you are given right now. I'm so glad I came to this place. Not just the beach, all of it, this world. And so did you. One day we can look back and say, we have been there. The sun just set and it will also rise again in a few minutes. I really enjoy these bright nights up in the north here, because further south in Scandinavia the nights are already dark again. I haven't seen dark nights in almost 2 months now, and I also haven't seen stars in about 2 months now, which is a bit crazy now that I think about it. and my sleeping schedule is completely crazy up here, of course. But I really enjoy that because the nights are just way too beautiful to sleep. And I also haven't seen trees for more than a week now that I think about it. Yeah, I will soon see some trees again when I drive south. But for now, it's really nice still being up here. Later that night I wandered around in the cliffs again, where I got to witness this colorful sunrise. I was hoping to see the seal one more time, but I didn't. At least I spotted these cute birds floating on the water like little boats. Then I went back to my car. I'm pretty tired now, I will go to bed soon, but I'm also still hungry. So I'm cooking some potatoes and eggs. And I didn't even have to put salt into the water because I took water directly from the ocean. Everything was twisted. I ate dinner and went to bed in the morning, but it felt like it was in the middle of the day. I was exhausted from the lack of sleep, yet surprisingly focused and sharp. I watched the landscape, I watched my thoughts, I watched myself. It was quite an interesting, boring and dramatic show at the same time. It's 6 in the morning now. Good night. This is the next day now. The weather's getting worse and I feel like I've been up here for long enough. I want to see some trees again. Let's head south. By the way, I haven't showed this to you yet, but I found this massive eagle feather up at the coast. And I lost that raven feather from Småland some weeks ago. And now it was literally replaced by a gigantic feather from a beautiful, majestic sea eagle. And this is just such a beautiful metaphor for life. So if there's a loss in your life of something, then maybe this is just the universe telling you, hey, don't be sad. I got something bigger and better for you. Just wait. And here it is. Just look at that. An eagle feather. What a nice souvenir. Just if the feather itself is that big, imagine how big the ring that this was a part of and the full bird must be. I love eagles. So let's drive further south. I'm getting closer and closer to the Finnish border. And so I crossed the border and drove over to Finland. If you want to see how my journey continued there, subscribe to my channel. Please note that this was just one of many episodes about this road trip. Here's a playlist with all episodes. It's also linked in the video description. A big thank you goes out to the great musicians who let me use their music in my videos. Check out their sites. Thanks for watching.